Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Beasts Like Bentley. So many of you have been asking what happened to Bentley the other week. Well, on this episode, we're going to walk down memory lane and explain everything what happened on that frightful night. So, let me wake up this guy. We'll grab the leashes and then we'll go for a little walk. Let's go. All right, let's go. Left. Yep. All right, guys, so what happened about 2 weeks ago? We were just moving into our new house and we were just going down the neighborhood, checking it out, going for a stroll with the doggos. And we walked past this one house and there were about 5 or 6 German Shepherds and they were going absolutely nuts. Like they wanted to be released, and we're like, So we made a mental note and we're like, okay, we are not ever going to walk down this way again, right? And so Kilo finally did his business, which it was taking him quite a long time for him to be comfortable enough to do his business. And so then we actually saw a friend who is living in the same neighborhood, and then she got out of her car, was just doing some small talk with us really quick, like, oh hey, welcome to the neighborhood and whatnot. And then as soon as she got into the car and drove off, the house with the German Shepherds, somebody came home, opened up the gate, and then all of the dogs just dashed straight for me and Bentley. And I think it was maybe 2 seconds, if that, and instantly the one dog just started going crazy on Bentley, went straight for his neck. And I did my best to deflect the German Shepherd and protect Bentley as much as possible. And in the mix of everything and whatnot, the German Shepherd just found my knee and bit down really hard. Ended up getting, there was about 10 holes and I got 4 stitches. The dog would not leave Bentley alone. The owner came running and there was a lot of confusion because the owner was yelling at the same time. It appeared as if the owner was yelling at me, like as if we were doing something wrong. And then finally the dogs ran off and they went home. And then Bentley let out this like really loud like cry. And I was like, what's wrong, buddy? And he just sat down. I checked him. I checked his neck. I checked, his legs and everything like that. And everything was fine. There was a bunch of fur that flew in the air, but there was no blood, right? And then I looked down at my leg and then everybody's like, yo, dude, you're bleeding. And so we had like the whole neighborhood come out and was like, hey, did that person's dog just attack you? And we're like, yeah. And they're like, you're bleeding. And so they actually all came out with a bunch of like first aid kits and stuff like that. Get away from that, smoking's bad. Came out with a bunch of first aid kits, started putting some alcohol on the wounds and whatnot, and they were really friendly neighbors in the area. And yeah, so then we started walking home, and Bentley, there were some other dogs and they were barking, and he tucked his tail. He was very scared. So we got home and I went upstairs to just assess like my knee and to clean it out and everything. And I come downstairs and there was Regina crying at the couch, and I couldn't see Bentley because he was behind the couch. And I look over and there was just puddles of blood. I mean, it was bad. There was a bunch of gauze and I was like, what the heck just happened? And she couldn't even speak. She was out of words. And I was like, look, we need to call the vet. And keep in mind, it was already like 7 o'clock at night. Nobody was open. Luckily, we had a friend who made a call, and we were able to get a hold of a vet. That way we could get Bentley stitched up. He ended up having to get 7 stitches in total, had a huge hole right next to his private part. And I mean, the German Shepherd was definitely out for some blood. It was bad. So we're gonna walk down. I'm gonna kind of show you roughly where it was, how far we were from the house, and kind of how fast it all happened. I mean, it was tough. It was like, what do you do in that type of situation, right? And so yeah. All right, so we're not gonna go all the way down there because we do got some PTSD. And we were standing way down there, okay? And then the house is over here. I don't really want to point and show exactly where the house is and stuff like that, because we're not here to call anybody out and shame anybody like that publicly. Like, we don't want to do that, right? So I was about 50 to, I would say, 60 meters away from the house with the German Shepherds. And like I said, it took maybe 2 seconds, if that, for that dog to come straight up and go straight to Bentley and straight to my knee. So what happened after that? Like I said, we got Bentley to the vet. We took care of him, which was a scary experience because they had to put him under anesthesia. That way they could properly clean him up and stitch him. And he was actually losing some oxygen. His oxygen levels were going down. And I tell you, that was one of the scariest moments, because it was like, wait, are we about to lose our dog just because he got, you know, not too badly injured, but just for something like completely unexpected, right? I mean, it was a terrifying experience. So after about 30 minutes or so, they were able to stitch Bentley up. This dog did not want to wake up. Typically, they're supposed to wake up around like 15 minutes after they administer the anesthesia, but this guy, he'd love to sleep. So we let him stay there for about another 15 minutes or so, and then finally we got him to wake up. And then we rushed to the emergency room, where I had to get stitches as well on my knee, like I said. So one thing to keep in mind when you do get bit by a dog, there's a few things that you have to consider. One, rabies. You have to make sure that the country that you're in, or the area, that there's no rabies cases. Luckily, where we're at, there are no rabies cases here, so we don't have to worry about that, but I still had to get a tetanus shot. Now, I think I got one maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, but if it's been after 5 years, you have to get another tetanus shot. And so they gave me a tetanus shot, and they did a really deep cleaning on the bite, because what can happen is it can get infected and bacteria can start growing, and then that's the last thing that you want to happen. You want to keep it clean. You don't want to let it get wet for at least the first 24 hours, because bacteria does grow in water. It's a perfect breeding ground for bacteria. Clean it, keep it wrapped, and just monitor it. So luckily, I've regained almost full range of motion. I'm about 95% pain-free on my knee, and I think it took Bentley about a week for him to start acting normal again. He now sprints around. His wound actually healed up very nicely. Like the vet that we went to, they did a great job with the stitches. So anyways, guys, for Bentley, what we had to do is keep a cone on him for about 2 weeks. That way he didn't lick his wound. So Bentley did pretty good with the cone, except it was like a very extra large cone. They didn't have any smaller ones. And so Bentley was knocking literally everything over in the house. Even our side tables for the couch, he knocked one of them down and actually cracked it by accident. I mean, it's not his fault, right? It's such a big cone. Come here. Yeah. It's okay, we're almost done. We're almost done. Good boy. Stay. But overall, Bentley was a big champ about it. We're just happy that nothing serious happened during the whole event. Unfortunately, the owner of the dog, they're not going to do anything about the dog. They're not going to keep the dog. They're not gonna kind of confine the dog to a certain area in their house. They're not gonna get the dog fixed or anything like that. And so unfortunately, the walks are pretty limited to our area. So we just have to stay in the spot that we just walked down to and not go across into that other road. But we do have a slightly bigger yard now, so we let them out a lot. We let them run around as freely as they want for the most part. But yeah, so that's it, guys. That's the story. We all made it, we survived, and the dogs are happy. So that's all that matters, right? Oh, one sad thing, guys, is we got this awesome collar for Bentley and Kilo over there from this guy named Gary that we found off of Amazon, and the attack actually ripped this part off. So I told Gary about it, and he was kind enough to send us out a new one. So we're waiting on that. But yeah, other than that, guys, we lost some fur. We lost a little bit of some confidence, I think, from this guy, but overall, it'll be okay. So thanks for watching, guys. Until then, we'll see you again on another episode of Beast Like Bentley. Peace.